The Boeing 757-300 is the largest narrowbody ever built. And yet, if you're flying anywhere outside the United States, your chances of seeing one are probably minimal. That's because practically all the 757-300s still in operation today belong to a single airline, Delta Airlines, and it uses them almost exclusively on domestic routes. It's been this way for years, but age catches up with everyone, and what Delta has been planning as its successor has the market concerned. Let's start with the basics. The Boeing 757-300 is literally stretched to the limit. At 54 meters in length, it's more than 7 meters longer than the standard 757-200. This makes it the longest narrowbody ever produced, longer even than the Airbus A321neo. Boeing launched it in the late 90s as a high-capacity solution for airlines that needed more seats but didn't want the operating costs of a widebody. But here's the problem. The 300 series never really took off in the market. Only 55 units were built before production ended in 2004. Today, Delta operates practically the entire global fleet of 757-300s still in service, and it uses them in a very specific way. High-density domestic routes, New York to Los Angeles, Atlanta to Seattle, Boston to San Francisco. These are flights with strong demand, where you need lots of seats. The 757-300 fits perfectly into this mission. It can carry more than 230 passengers in Delta's configuration, significantly more than a 757-200 or even an older A321. It has the range to cross the country comfortably, and because it's a 757, it has that characteristic powerful performance, strong climb rate, excellent capability in hot and high conditions, and the ability to operate on shorter runways when necessary. But there's another reason Delta loves this aircraft. They already own them. The airline acquired most of its 757-300 fleet years ago, and although the jets are aging, they've already been paid off. This makes them relatively cheap to operate per seat. That said, time waits for no aircraft. The average age of Delta's 757-300 fleet is steadily climbing. Many of these jets have now passed 20 years, and with production shut down almost 2 decades ago, parts are becoming harder to obtain. Maintenance cycles are getting shorter. Costs are increasing. Meanwhile, the industry has moved forward. The Airbus A321neo, for example, offers similar or even greater capacity, burns significantly less fuel per seat, and comes with all the modern avionics and passenger amenities you'd expect from a 21st century airplane. It's also still in production, which means parts availability, manufacturer support, and ongoing updates. So while Delta is historically known for squeezing every last mile out of its older aircraft, think about how long they kept the MD-88s and MD-90s flying. Even they can't defy economics forever. The 757-300 is entering the final phase of its operational life. The question isn't whether it will be retired, but when. Naturally, its successor will be the Airbus A321. Delta already operates a considerable fleet of A321s, both the older CEO variant and the newer, more efficient Neo. In fact, analysts have long pointed to the A321 family as the logical replacement for the entire 757 series, not just the 300 but the 200 as well. The A321neo, in particular, has become the gold standard for high-capacity narrow-body operations. It's quieter, cleaner, and cheaper to operate. And with Delta continuing to receive deliveries of new A321neos, the pieces are falling into place for a gradual fleet transition. But here's where it gets interesting. The 757-300 occupies a very specific niche. It's not just about seat count, but about performance. The 757 has a reputation for being able to do things other narrow-bodies can't, especially when it comes to short-field performance and high-altitude operations. That's harder to replicate with an A321, even the Neo variant. So while the A321 is the obvious replacement on paper, operationally there are still gaps. Delta hasn't announced a firm retirement date for its 300 version fleet, and that's probably intentional. Airlines rarely retire entire fleets overnight, unless something happens. Instead, retirements tend to happen gradually, aircraft by aircraft, as they reach certain maintenance milestones or as newer replacements become available. What we do know is that Delta has been steadily growing its A321 fleet. They've also been retiring older aircraft types across the board as part of a broader modernization effort. The 757-300 is almost certainly on that list. Some aviation analysts suggest that by the end of this decade, most, if not all, of Delta 757-300s could be out of service. This would align with the natural aging curve and delivery schedules for new A321s. But until then, the 757-300 will continue doing what it does best, carrying passengers across the United States on some of the busiest domestic routes in the world. It's a workhorse, it's reliable, and for now, it still makes economic sense. So, what do you think? Will you miss the 757-300 when it's gone? Or is it time for Delta to fully embrace the next generation, since Boeing still hasn't announced its next launch? This is Plane News. Fly safe.